The first problem from section 7.6, translate the following into an equation. The horsepower required to overcome vehicle air resistance is equal to the cube of the vehicle speed in miles per hour multiplied by the frontal area in square feet divided by 150,000. So we're trying to take these words and write an algebraic expression or equation out of these words. First thing we want to do is establish how many variables are going to be in the problem. So we want to read the problem here to see variables, like how many different measurements do we need to know. So it says the horsepower required to overcome vehicle air resistance. That's one thing. All right? Horsepower required to overcome vehicle air resistance is equal to the cube of the vehicle speed. The vehicle speed is a second variable in miles per hour, multiplied by the frontal area in square feet, divided by 150,000. So the blue highlight represents one variable, the yellow highlight represents a second variable, and the green highlight represents the third variable happening in this problem. So in order to write an algebraic equation, I need to have what the variables I'm going to use are going to be. And I like to use variables that are useful, that are meaningful in the sense of what's happening in the problem. So if the first variable has to do with horsepower, maybe I'm going to say H or P for horsepower. H will be the horsepower required to overcome air resistance. Okay, V for vehicle speed, S for vehicle speed, R rate. Take your pick for a variable for that. I'm going to use V for vehicle speed. Vehicle speed, miles per hour. If there's a specific unit attached, I'm going to put that in my list here. And then the frontal area in square feet. Let's say A for frontal area. And that's in square feet. They didn't give us a unit per horsepower, but the horsepower should be the unit per horsepower, right? Probably. That's an actual unit. So, all right. So now that I've got variables to represent the things I got highlighted, now it's just a matter of taking the mathematical terminology in there and doing the math with these variables. So the blue highlight is H. H is equal to the cube of means to raise whatever the next thing is to the third power. That's what a cube is, third power. If it said cube root, now we're going to do a root with a 3 on it. So just the cube means to take the third power. So the cube of the vehicle speed, so that means the vehicle speed, which is V, to the third power. Multiplied by means times. And then we're multiplying that by the frontal area, which is A. And then finally it says divided by 150,000. What's being divided by 150,000 is this product here. That's the formula described by those words. It's up to you to translate those words correctly, but again, part of that translation is you have to invent some words. Imagine you're in Spanish class and Mrs. Prater's there teaching Spanish, and you've got this whole list of words you need to memorize, but then there's some stuff you don't know. And instead of just saying, I don't know, you get to make up your own Spanish words. That's all that's happening here. I have no idea what horsepower required to overcome vehicle air resistance is. I invented an answer. I called it H. So when it's talking about this, I'm going to call it H. I have no idea what the vehicle speed is in miles per hour, so I made it up. I called it V. So that's the whole idea of these formulas that we're making. We're writing down the things we'd want to have measurements for, but we don't know what they are yet, so we just invent an answer to hold its place until we know something. So now if I knew how fast the speed was and I knew the frontal area, I could find the horsepower. Or if I knew the horsepower and the vehicle speed, I could find the frontal area and so on and so forth. So that's the idea of these problems, is you take the words, translate it to an equation, and then hopefully they feed more information to you so you can find something that's